Beginnings with B Priest. Get Brian on Instagram.
At humble_beginnings_1279.
Facebook.
Humble Beginnings with B Priest.
Email address.
humblebeginnings1279@gmail.com.
You can listen to the podcast on
iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Spreaker. SPREAKER. How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Here we go. Humble Beginnings, right, with B Priest. Today we're going to do an episode 13, right, Baker's Dozen. This is going to be on staying in the present moment, stop kind of like staying in the past, why that's good for you, why it's bad for you, why I do it, why everybody does it. So, for myself, I'll tell you this, that for me, I stay in the past sometimes because like the mind always goes back to the past, because sometimes we look at what we didn't do, what we could have done, or a good moment in the past. So you're not like being present in the moment. When you're present in the moment, the opportunities arise. You see things that are in front of you. You enjoy the moment. So when you're looking into the past, you can be in depression. If you're looking towards the future, you can be anxious because you're not sure what's going to happen. So, oh my God, this could happen. Oh my God, that could happen. Oh man, this could happen, right? But for me, I've learned that the past is meant to be a learning tool to get better for your present time. Just to learn from it. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, I read this good book, right? I think it's called Stop Doing That Shit, right? And in that book, he talks about really cool stuff. Like, one thing he talks about is that your past dominates your potential, and you don't live a life of anything that is possible. You live a life of some things that are possible given my past. I like that. I like what he says in that book, because what he's basically stating is by what you went through in your past is whether you can do something or not. And I think that's total garbage. What happened in your past happened. You have to understand that if you just sit in your past and you're there all the time, you're going to dwell, you're depressed, you'll never be able to do anything in your life. Just like when you're driving, you don't look through your rear view mirror, do you? No. You look through the windshield. The windshield is bigger, too. There's more potential in your present time. Now, the rear view is very small and is limited. That's where your past is. Your past happened, there's nothing you can do about it. But I do it all the time. Like for myself, I did, drugs for almost 18 years. And, I was in a relationship at one point with a person for, I think it was like 4 weeks, 5 weeks maybe, I'm not even sure. But that person brought up a lot of stuff that I already knew, like, why aren't you where you are in your life at this age? You know what I mean? Like, they were expecting me to be somewhere more because society tells you should be where you're meant to be at a certain time. But everybody's journey is different. So we have to learn that. But then when that person put that in front, I was like, that is true. I should be at a certain time, but my journey was different. Without my life experience, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be able to help people. I wouldn't have the life experience to teach younger people what not to do, how to get past it, how to get out your own head, how to understand yourself. So when people do that to you, when they say, hey, you should be here, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should be, but my journey didn't go that route. I'm not there. There's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is learn not to make the same mistakes I did before. That's what the past for. It's just a learning lesson. There's nothing more, nothing less about it. I do it all the time to myself. I wish I had wife, kids, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I wish I had a better career. My career is on its way up, 100%. It's going towards something really great. I know I'm going to be something really good in this life. I do. It's just a lot of times we tend to sit back and just wish oh man, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. If I did this, or I did that. I want to tell you why that doesn't work. Because let's say I have the knowledge I have today, and I bring it back to my younger years before I started drugs. I think it was 2021, right? I give all the knowledge I have now. Now I'll bypass all the problems that I accrued through those times, right? So what do you think? You think I'll just come out and become a CEO and this will happen and that will happen? Wrong. This is what would happen. If I went back in time, gave myself the information, this is what would happen. Life would be like, okay, so you have that information. Now we'll give you a whole set of other challenges. Remember, in this life, we're here for a reason. You're built for a reason, I promise you. You have to find the things that you're really good at, and it doesn't take much trying to get to do these things. Like if you're really good at something, he's like, wow, this is pretty easy. It's not that hard. I'm pretty good at this. So, of course you're going to have to learn to get better at it. But when you can do something and you feel good, then always sense how you feel, how you're doing. When you do something, sense how you feel after. Because that really says whether you're meant to be in that area or not. Like if you go to your job and you despise it all the time, it's not where you're meant to be. Your inner self is like, hey, listen, man, you got to go a different direction. There's no point in being here. That's why when I had a job, I worked at a different company, and I was making maybe almost 75, 80,000, and I walked away from it because I was miserable. Yeah, the money, it was there. I could have had a lot of things that I want today, but I knew that in the long run, I would have been more miserable, and it broke me down piece by piece. Now I'm a lot more happier, a lot more freer than I ever was in my life. So staying to the present moment is a key, because that's where the opportunities lie. That's where we're meant to be. We can't always be somewhere else. You're going to wish you had these moments in time, like with your family, with your mother, with your kids, with your daughters, with your sons, with your friends. Like the moments are what count. And that's why sometimes when you go in the past, it's like, when you're going somewhere, you're driving, you go to a place, and that memory of that place brings up a past memory, either good or bad. That's what your mind is doing, is you're reminiscing of something. So that's why I say that the past is a learning tool. Now, in the past, we're always relating to the past over and over again. I know I do. I have an issue with it, actually. It's the one thing that I have not been able to overcome just yet. I've only been able to kind of like understand it a little bit. The past, we're teaching ourselves who we're going to be in the present time. I always look back at myself, and like I was talking before, like, man, if I could have done what I did today, if I did in the past, I'd be a way better version of myself. But that's not true. I'm glad I went through what I went through. The hardest part is that we let other people tell us how we should feel. A lot of times what people are doing when they tell you, hey, listen, you should be here, you should be that, you should be that, they're just putting their projections on you. That's all. They never lived your life. They don't know what you went through. They'll never understand that. Only you can. And you can get through all these problems or issues if you can stay in the present moment, enjoy the moment, enjoy each moment as it is. Only go for what you can control. But the only thing you can control is how you deal with the situation that comes up. You're never going to control other people's actions, how they think about you, how they feel about you. Don't care what other people feel about you. Don't let someone's perception of you become your reality. I don't care what other people think about me. I really don't. Maybe that's why I went towards what I went towards. In the beginning, I did care. That's why I did a lot of the drugs. I was trying to escape life. I wasn't trying to be life. I didn't care who I was. I didn't like who I was. I look back at it now, and I felt bad for myself because I was hurting, and I had no one to go to. That's one thing I've learned, is that you need to have people around you that you can go to when tough times come up. And that's the cool part, is that when tough times come up, you need to learn how you deal with these tough times. So like I've been trying to do lately, is when I kind of try to put in my head, like, if this was to happen, whatever tough time comes up, I don't know, whatever happens that you consider a challenge in your life, whether it's financial, personal, spiritual, whatever it is, try to figure out what would help you through that situation before you get to that point. Like, people say, well, what can help you when you're angry? You know what I mean? How about the fact is, how about we get to the point where we don't get to the angry part? We stop it before it is tracks, before it gets to your full-blown red. So if I know that things bother me, what can help me get to that point where I can bring myself back to another state? I've talked about it in the other episodes, but it is a very good point to do, because if you get really angry, that's when we make bad decisions. For myself, I've made many bad decisions in my life. And I've second-guessed myself over and over in the past. And I've stayed in the past, and I lived in the past. And I'm always trying to figure out why I couldn't get past certain things. It's because I didn't have confidence in myself, because my past actions showed that there was lack of confidence there. But if I just sat in the present moment and brought myself up and did certain things to build myself, you would see that a lot more is upon us. We have a lot more strength underneath. We're always repeating the past. That's what's happening a lot of times. We're just banging our head into a wall. Like if it was my job, I see people all the time with mental health issues, then substance abuse issues, and just full-blown crisis mode. And all they talk about, well, when I was younger, I was this and that. I was doing this. I was doing that. I'm like, I understand that. But you're looking at who you used to be, not who you are now. That happened in the past, yes. So own it. And I'm learning something. When you own something, it can't own you. So if you own who you used to be, yes, I had an addiction for cocaine, for crack, with meth. My finances were in chaos. I didn't understand. I was financially stable for somebody else, meaning that I needed money from other people, that I didn't understand how to use money in a proper form. I didn't understand how to make money work hard for me. I didn't know how to take risks. I ran away from it. I got comfortable in very, very dangerous situations. Those are all the things that happened to me in my life because I didn't know no better. But I did the best that I could at that time when I was in the past. That's what we have to see. You did the best that you could because that's what you knew. You were going on the knowledge that you have at that moment in time. But now don't look back like, oh my God, I could. Why did I do that? You did that because that's the best of that was the best of your ability. And with the best of your ability, you tried the best you could. And that's the learning lesson right there. But own it. But yeah, I did the best that I could, but now it's a different person. I'm making a new version of myself. I'm coming out my skin. I'm shedding my skin and being somebody better. And learn from those lessons. I'm going to stay in the moment. I'm going to love the moment. I'm going to love the time at 12:47 p.m. at this moment in time that I have an opportunity to talk on a podcast, that I have an opportunity to do what I do in my life. You know, because there's a lot of people through addiction that are living in body bags. No one talks about that. You know what I mean? That's why I talked about the gratefulness in the other one. Because the stuff I see on my job, when I see, is so hurtful. I just want to help everybody. There's so much pain out there. You don't understand what people go through is insane. Like I love going to other people's houses, see how they live, because it's showing me that I should be grateful for where I'm at in my present moment in time. Grateful for what I have. We always focus on what we don't want. And when you focus on what you don't want, you're going to bring back more of that energy. So if I focus, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have a car, I don't have this, I don't have that. That's all the stuff that's going to come back to you. But if you say, hey, listen, man, I have my health. I have money coming in from different directions, from more than one source. I have friendships. I have self-care. I have a place to live. I have a car getting from point A to point B. If you believe in God, I have God in my life that's guided me into a better version of myself. You know, those are the things that we do have. You know what I mean? Whatever it is in your life, that's what we do have. And when you focus more on those things, the world will open up more gratefulness for you. You know what I mean? I read a book once and they said, like, everybody wants what someone else has, right? So the guy with the car is envious of the guy with the better car. The guy with the bicycle would be the guy with the beat up car that the guy doesn't want. The guy with the bicycle, there's a guy that doesn't have a bike that's walking to work, and he's envious of the guy with the bicycle. And the guy that's walking to work, there's a guy that can't even walk because his legs are broken. And the guy that's on his deathbed wishes that he could just be like the guy with his leg broken who can move around. You see how it works, right? So don't be grateful for what you have because you'll be taken by any moment. So I'm kind of going a little all over the place in this episode here. I know it's about to be out at the present moment, but the reason I would say that you want to stay in the present moment is because you want to understand that all the opportunities are in front of us right now. They're not in the past. The opportunities are gone. Those opportunities, we did the best that we could at that given time. And that's the past. That's all the past is. It's a learning tool. That's all it is. And the more you learn from it, the better you get. But don't always go back into the past from a learning tool. At the same time I say that, past happened. Just make new moments. Because moments that that are in this present time you're going to wish you can get back, like people who don't have mothers, people's moms who have passed on.